Being a nurse is very rewarding and fulfilling, but it's not the easiest job. You work long hours, work in the hospital, stressful environment, and long shifts, 12-hour shifts for most nurses. And sometimes the paycheck that you get does not feel like it's reflecting all the energy that you're putting into your work. And so in this video, I want to talk to you about ways on how you can increase your income as a nurse. These are some of the things that I have done personally, from, starting a side hustle, money management, making your money work for you, investing. And I want to show you that there are ways that you can do to reach financial freedom as a nurse. That way you can have more options and you can truly build the life that you want for yourself. Hi friends, welcome back. And if you're new here, my name is Elaine. I am a nurse practitioner and I have been helping nurses how to invest their money and build wealth. And I also founded the blog Nursing Flow Sheet. And so if you are feeling stuck, know that you are not alone. And I have been also in a position where I feel like I'm just working so hard for my money when I was starting out as a nurse. And so, so you're not alone, and there is a way out, and there are ways on how you can have more choices in life and be financially free. So the first thing that I want to talk about on how you can increase your income is maximizing your nursing role. And really, let's start with the basics, because this is already something that you're doing. This is already what you went to school for. And so when I was starting out, I realized that the same job can definitely pay differently depending on where you're working, your schedule, what specialty you're working at, and really trying to figure out where you can make the most money for the same amount of work that you're doing kind of determines on how you can increase your income. So when I was starting out as a new grad nurse, I worked in a county hospital and I was getting paid $28 per hour, and I worked in the ICU as a new grad. It was the busiest ICU unit I've ever worked at, to be honest. And I spent my first years in my nursing career in this job, and I realized that I'm not really getting paid for the work that I do. And I realized that it's not worth it for me. So I found out that by just moving to a different city, because I live in California, that I can actually double my income. So one of the first things that I did is change my job. So I moved from Central Valley, Central California, to Northern California in Sacramento. And I worked in the ICU as well in Sacramento, but I was paid $54 per hour when I went up there with my 3-year experience as an ICU nurse. So that is number one thing that you can do, is changing locations. The second thing is maybe getting certified. When I worked in a ICU in Sacramento, I worked for a big hospital system, and they actually pay extra for somebody who is a certified nurse. So what does that mean? So if you work in ICU and you work, for example, in a neuro ICU, you could get a certification as a neuro ICU nurse and you could get paid extra for that. Like, I took my CCRN, and then after I gave my employer the certification, they added $3 per hour in my paycheck. So if you are specializing in nursing, sometimes, like, if you ask your employer, they can pay you more for that. Another thing that you can increase your income within your nursing job is by picking up differentials. So right now I work as a nurse practitioner. I'm on salary, meaning if I work more or less, I'm still paid the same. One thing I miss about being a nurse or a bedside nurse or working in the hospital is that the differential pay is something that I don't have anymore. So for those of you who don't know what a differential pay is, there are a lot of shifts that not a lot of people want to work, so they pay extra if you work those shifts. So that includes working an evening differential, night differential, holiday differential, or even like weekend differential. So I know somebody, like a nurse that I know, who picks up all the differentials because he is single and he doesn't have a family. He doesn't really care working on the weekends or holidays. So he is making bank. So so those are some of the things that you can do within your profession if you want to maximize your nursing income. And that includes changing job or your location. Number 2 is getting certified. And then number 3 is picking up differential shifts. And the second thing that you can do to increase your income outside of your career or your nursing profession is by starting a side hustle. Now, I always want to say and preface this by saying that you don't need a side hustle in order for you to survive or even afford the basic necessities, because as a nurse, you should be paid well enough. But if you want to make more money, then side hustling is definitely another thing that you can do. I have been doing a lot of side hustles since I started my career, whether like before I only do it kind of like for fun. But now that I am really wanting to reach my retirement before 45, I am like maximizing ways on how I can increase my income outside of nursing. So I have done a lot of side hustles. When I talk about side hustles, I want you to think of something that you like to do already on the side, or a hobby that you want to monetize. Now, I know that there's a lot of debate whether you should be monetizing your hobby or not, because some people kind of lose that passion when it comes to their hobbies once they start to think of it as another source of income. But for me, I love writing, I love creating content. Those are the things that I enjoy doing. I love teaching, and so I monetize those. And it's nice to be paid for doing something you actually already love doing. So I have worked with some brands, and I have also made content for big companies where they pay me for making that content. And it's just a fun way of like making money. I also teach nurses how to invest. I have an educational platform that I run, a blog that I run that teaches about financial literacy for nurses. And even with that, I am making money off of that. So if you want to learn some other ways of how I increase my income, you can watch the video right here of how my 6 sources of income. And these are some of the things that I do in that video. So your side hustle really doesn't have to look like mine, and it could be something else, right? I know some nurses whose side hustle is babysitting on the weekends, or they work in a cafe as a barista, like a few hours a week. So there are a lot of ways that you can make money, and starting small, even for just a few hours, could be one thing. The key really is to leverage your knowledge and also your skills and experience as a nurse to make that side hustle. So now that you have increased your income within your nursing profession and even made a side hustle as a nurse, the next thing that you have to do is to invest your money. And I say this because I know a lot of people who make a lot of money, but they don't invest it. So it's useless. It's not how much you make, it's how much you save and invest that really matters at the end of the day. And so the truth is, with your job and your side hustles, that it's just the start of your wealth building journey. If you want a lasting financial freedom, you have to make your money work for you. Those 2 things that I had mentioned with increasing your income are just some ways that you can make money by trading in your hours for. I want you to think of ways on how you can grow money without you having putting in the time, because at the end of the day, and also the ultimate goal really is for you to get your time back and achieve financial freedom. And that is where investing comes in. So when I first started investing, I was really overwhelmed, and I did not even really start investing until maybe a few years into my career as a nurse. And if you are starting out as a nurse right now, this is a great way for you to start investing. And even though you're not starting to, even if you're in the middle of your career journey as a nurse, it's still a good time to invest. Like, now is the right time to invest. I actually made a video on how you can invest as a beginner. If you don't know anything about investing, in this video right here, investing for beginners, and I put in all the steps on how you can invest. So I'm not going to go over that in this video. But essentially, I want you to set up a system to where you are consistently investing every month, or consistently, regularly, to where you don't need to constantly think about doing it manually. Really think that you should take advantage of different investment accounts like a 401k, a Roth IRA, individual brokerage account, even health savings account, or even investing for your kids, and also automating your investments into this accounts. And be consistent and patient, because for investing, one of the things that a lot of people really get wrong is that when they invest, they want to see the returns right away. But in general, when you're investing, and this is for me as well, I have to think long term. Investment is an investment for a reason, because it needs time to grow. So don't skip investing. You need this in order for you to build long-lasting wealth. And so now that you have, increased your income within your job and your salaries, maybe a side hustle while you're working full-time as a nurse, and you're investing that money, one thing to also increase your income is by starting your own business, being an entrepreneur, and creating your own path. Now, I know that entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but I do believe that you should at least try being a business owner, if it's something for you or not for you. I always say that you won't really know if something is for you or not for you unless you actually do it or try it. And this is what I said, many, many years ago, that I'm not a business owner. I don't have that itch. I don't have that blood in me. None of my family members, at least immediate family members, are business owners. So it was never something that I thought about I could do. But one thing that I love about, this whole journey of financial freedom is realizing that I don't have to just be a nurse, right? I could make my own path too. I can take control of my time in my life too. And that may be through entrepreneurship. And this is why I started Nursing Flow Sheet, and this is why I made it into an actual business, like a legal business. I want to help people. I want to create a legacy, and I want to be in control of it. And yeah, so even though the entrepreneurship may be one of those things where you are exchanging your 9 to 5 to a 24/7 job, it is very fulfilling knowing that you are creating the life that you truly want for yourself. So yeah, so it doesn't even need to be like $1 million business, and it doesn't need to make, you don't need to hire like hundreds of people or even a lot of people. I work by myself. I'm a solo entrepreneur. I have some contractors who work for me in my blog, who edits my videos, who gives me who helps me with the website design. I have an assistant. So it doesn't need to be a whole full scale, business. It's really up to you on what you decide you want it to be. But the key thing with being a business owner is that there is no limit to how much you can make. I find that with the side hustles, even with your nursing career or whatever career you have, you're always going to be hitting that ceiling of how much you can make. But if you're an actual business owner, you can make as much as you want, if you want to. But of course, that will come with a price. But it's something, to keep in mind when it comes to, building financial freedom, is that entrepreneurship is also another way, even for nurses. You can be a business owner as well. So with that said, here is the biggest lesson that I have learned when it comes to increasing your income. And it's not really just about working harder. It's not about working longer hours. It's not about, chasing the highest differential until you burn out. Increasing your income, investing it, really is a lot about creating options for yourself. Every time I think about investing in myself, whether that's me moving from one city to the other, or changing jobs, leaving a really cushy, nice job, comfy job, building my online business, working 24/7, it's not just about the money. It's about freedom all along. It's about having options. It's about having your time back. And I think that that is the biggest luxury that, this whole journey has given me. And it's possible, even with a nursing career. Like, look at me. So I think that you could have freedom to do what you want, to spend time with whomever you want, freedom to live life on your own terms. So yeah, so those are some ways on how you can increase your income. And I would love to hear from you. Like, how would you like to increase your income as a nurse? Like, what are you doing right now in order for you to be a step closer to financial freedom? Leave it in the comment down below. And as usual, if you like this kind of videos, this kind of content, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, or tell like somebody you know, tell a nurse, that your friend, your ate, your kuya, your aunties, your relatives, your tío, your tía, about my channel, because I like meeting nurses like you who wants to build wealth and have more options in life. I will see you in the next video. Bye.